All right, how everybody doing? First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming out for this right here.
Hold on.
What? Okay, like I said, I want to thank everybody for taking time out to come out for this right here. The hashtag Justice for Mario Clark Peace Rally. This is the sister and sister right here and the mother. Finish this quick introduction and I'm gonna let her take it over from there. This case right here means a lot to me for the simple fact, many of y'all may not know, I am epileptic, I have seizures, I'm a husband, father, and I'm a son. And I would hate for something similar like this to happen to me if I'm out in the public. I've known from personal experience, when I have a seizure in public, first thing they do is call the police before they even call the ambulance. And I'd hate for something like that to happen to me where they feel like I'm a threat and they just beat me up because they feel like I'm a threat. And that's why this case means so much to me, and I appreciate everyone coming out. And I just ask y'all, make sure y'all tag and share and share and share. And I'm gonna let them go ahead and take over.
Hey, how everybody doing? Thank you all for coming out. We called this protest today because we're trying to get justice for Mario Clark, the young man that was beaten here in Jackson, Mississippi, at our mom's home. Mario left behind a daughter, and she misses her dad. And we want to know from the city, when will we get our day in court? Because it's been long overdue, a year and a half almost, to be exact. So that's basically what I had to share with you all. Mom, you want to say something?
My name is Sheila Ragland. I'm Mario Clark's mother. My year and a half been rough on me because they just made my baby's murder as a mockery. And they making me out of a mockery. But I done gave them to God, and I even forgive y'all. You know, because God said I got to forgive y'all so he can do what he need to do. So until I forgive y'all, I ain't gonna get no justice. So I forgive y'all for what y'all done. But I just want you to tell me that you're sorry. Y'all ain't never even told me you was sorry for killing my boy. Not even one of you. Not even AMR. They responsible for killing them too. It's a whole lot of things people don't know. If y'all knew what was really going on. They came in my house just like I didn't even have a house. That was their house that night. It was their house. And I called them. I called 911 and told them to come and help me with my boy because he was a paranoid schizophrenic. He'd been diagnosed with that ever since he was 13 years old. They know. They was giving him a check. They know who he is. But it's gonna work out because God gonna work it out. But I do want y'all to tell me y'all sorry though. But I still forgive you.
What I'm about to do is just read from the notes that I had when I first ran across this family. I was actually leaving another march, and I was headed downtown, and I saw this sign and that sign right there. And a lady, I was recording, and the lady said, record this and promise to post this. And I said, I'm gonna promise. But before I posted it, I did as much research as I possibly could. And then I met up with his sister and his mom. And so I'm just gonna read from some notes that I took when I first met them. She made the call, the 911 call, February the 14th, 2019 at 10:30. She said that Mario needed help to get him to a hospital. He's a paranoid schizophrenic. The mother, when she talked to the 911 person, said, please don't send nobody out here to hurt him. The dispatcher said, all I can do is send somebody out there. I don't know what they gonna do. Let's see, when they came out there, Mario was actually walking down the street. And when he came back to the house, the first police officer pulled up, and the police officer looked at him and said, what the F you looking at? Is that a way to respond to anybody?
When the officer got there, it was 2 officers pulled up at first. And Mario, he was kind of talking out of his head and stuff. And you know, I knew he needed to go to the doctor. So when the 2 officers pulled up, they got out of the car and Mario walked up to one of them. And he was talking to him. He said, "Motherfucker, if you don't get out of my face, I'll bust all your teeth out your mouth." And I said, "Sir, hold up. I didn't call y'all out here for this." I said, Mario, I got in between him and the officer. And that's when I told the officer, "This ain't what I call y'all out here for." I said, "My baby needs to go to the hospital. He's sick." But when they came there with an attitude. So I knew, I ever called them people to my house. But I never ever call them again. I would rather take it up on my own. I would never ever call them people again. Never ever in my life. As long as I walk on this earth, I'll never call them again.
The thing that we really want, and the main reason why I'm doing this is I feel, and the family feel, there's no communication between JPD officers in the case. There's no communication between the mayor. They've tried numerous times to get in contact with the mayor. No response whatsoever. But if something else pop up, the mayor quick to throw a press conference for stuff that we really is not really benefiting us. I personally feel. That's my personal opinion, and I don't know how y'all feel, but that's how I personally feel. He has yet to state that those police officers that came to her house is the reason why her son is dead. He hasn't apologized. He hasn't publicly came out and done none of that. None of that. And that's what we actually demand. We actually want him to come out in public. And I know their case is not the only case. There are between 7 and 8 other citizens that have been killed by JPD officers. We really just want him to publicly admit that this is what's happening. The police brutality is going on in our own city. And that we want him to recognize it and admit to it. Just like everybody marched for George Floyd, I don't want to take nothing from that. Nothing from that. But just like we all came out and marched for him, I think we as Jackson citizens should march for our own people. There are many, many cases going on down here. We should march for them. It doesn't cost nothing to do anything like this. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. That's all. I was always raised, you take care of home. Jackson is our home, y'all. Y'all need to realize this. Jackson is our home. We can't allow people to come here from other places and take over our home. We need to stop. I'm not saying stop worrying about what's going on in other states, but Jackson, Mississippi is my home, is your home, is their home. We need to do a better job and take care of it. We need to make people who are in office be accountable for the actions that they're doing. And I'm really at the point where I'm giving up and believing in anything that has anything to do with politics. Because they tell us a lot of BS just to get reelected. And then when they get reelected, it's like they forget about the poor people, the people that actually put them in office. This case is a very important case. We not stopping, I'm not stopping. I do a lot of other things, but this is something that I will not stop. This is gonna be the first one, it definitely won't be the last one. And this is, I just want everybody to know that we have to stick together. We can come together for other foolishness. We need to come together for this case and all the other cases. It really don't take a lot. All you really gotta do is go to Google and type the stuff in. It's gonna come up, do your research. You research everything else. You research the cheapest prices to get for shoes on Amazon and all that stuff right there. It don't take a lot to do research for this right here. Black, come here. I'm putting you on the spot. I know you know of the case. I knew about it. I just heard about it when he briefly, come here right here, AZ. This AZ Black, y'all know AZ Black. When he made a podcast about it, and then I ran across these people, and I just would like you to take out some time and say what you got to say. I know you got some more stuff to say.
How y'all doing? All right. I'm a little on the other side of, well, I'm on this side, but I'm more on the side of self-righteousness and getting ourselves right. We keep looking into the hands of the oppressor for justice, and it ain't there. It's simply not there. When our kids are born, the first thing we do is give them a birth certificate and admit them to the state. It starts there. You've given your kids away to the oppressor from Jump Street. So just like Polo said, it starts in our home. Just like his mother said, she'll never call him again. Fact is, we shouldn't have been calling on him in the first place. But it starts at home, it starts in the churches, it starts in the communities. When you destroy the black image, you have given your rights away right then, and you can never get them back. So the first thing we need to do is start rewriting history. We need to get into our history and not his story. So the schools, backwards. Politics, backwards. I'm sorry to say it, but the church, backwards. The first thing to do is give you a white image of a God. When you do that, anytime you feel like you need help, what you gonna do? You're gonna put your hands in the white community or the white hand, and they're gonna destroy it from the door. Justice is ours. We don't have to ask for it, we don't have to demand it. Black lives matter. If Black lives matter, when we look around and look into our eyes, look into your brother's eyes, your sister's eyes, if you see something you don't like, Black lives do not matter. Hands down. So, what am I saying by long shot? We need to start loving one another, and we need to start in our homes. If you can't do it in the home, in the mirror, start loving yourself, then you damn sure can't do it with your brother. Calling the police, we should be able to. And I'm actually proud of the JPD department and the Hinds County Sheriff Department. Let me tell you why. If you look around the nation and look around the world, our killings are very light, but it don't stop the fact that it exists. This right here, when I heard about this right here, tore me up. I'm talking about tore me up, and I'm quite sure my pain ain't nothing like this woman's pain here, standing here. That was her child. So it cannot compare, and I'm not gonna stand here and say I understand, because I don't. I have lost none in my community, but I've seen, take that back, in my home, but I've seen plenty in my community. So start loving on yourselves, start loving on your children. And I'm a sharp rebuker when it comes down to saying that they're gonna be all right. No, they're not gonna be all right. You have to stay on these kids day for day. Start having your children in your hands by, first of all, giving them an image that they can relate to. God needs to be black. What other race do you know that has a God that looks like us or somebody else? Nobody. None whatsoever. So when you take your child to the church or to the school and give them an image that don't look like them, that's what they're going to worship. So when they need help, that's what they're going to call on, something that does not look like them. And when they see an enemy, the enemy is going to look like them because they can't relate. If you go home now and you write down, if you get go on Google and get a white doll, a Mexican doll, an Asian doll, Iran doll, and a black doll, you put them down on paper, you ask your child which one is the ugliest. I guarantee you they're going to point at the dark one. I guarantee you. Because this is what's going around in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our churches, and in America. I'm done.
My family, we come up with peace. My mama said that they was hitting them with the sticks. They was hitting them with the sticks, my little brother. Next to y'all on that Facebook Live. She said they was hitting them with the sticks. And all I hear on the news media and y'all putting up out there that she accused. Sharon Grissom called my mama, and I was there, I heard it. She called my mama, she said, Miss Ragland, your son has been strangled. He had internal bruises, and he had trauma to the head. That's why we screaming the AMR in the hospital, because he was strangled. According to AMR, when they came, he was still alive, so the police couldn't have strangled him. But they want to keep us hush-hush. Our Constitution tells us that when our freedom and our right to live is being threatened, then we have the power to overcome it. My mama ain't gotta accuse nobody. But for all y'all that don't know what she's saying, I'm gonna tell you what she's saying. What she's screaming is, she's screaming murder! She's screaming murder! They killed her baby. That's what she's screaming. These officers, these personnel that showed up at her house, that beat my brother like that, we after y'all. We ain't gonna stop. So you can make us sound like we ignorant, we don't know what was going on, we know. And any citizen out there that go and commit a homicide, and you at the scene, you will be arrested. That's law. So I don't understand the difference with these, what y'all waiting on. It's been 17 months, we still ain't even got the medical records. And we've been asking. These folks, these sit attorneys, study telling them to be quiet. What we quiet about? The truth we ain't gonna be quiet about. Because if it was justified, it'll be on every news station in America. So my mama, again, ain't gotta accuse y'all of nothing. And when you say she lying, you go tell the state coroner they lying. They the one made these rules. They the one said it was a homicide.
The night I found out how my baby died, Miss Sharon Grissom called me. And she was like, Miss Ragley, she said, I gotta tell you what happened to your son before I let anybody else know. She said he was beaten. He died of blunt force trauma. Asphyxiation, that means not getting no air to his brain. And he was strangled. So that means he was murdered. Somebody murdered him. But it's this little fella that was on the ambulance that night. His name is Steven. He's a Caucasian little fella. He was about maybe 20 years old, maybe 20. If he's 20, I don't know. But anyway, he was so scared. He was so scared. Whatever was going on, he know all about it. He was so scared, he quit the next day. They can't even find him. He was so scared, he came back in the back of the ambulance and he was like, ma'am. He said, I ain't have nothing to do with this. And I went off on him because I was upset. I told him I didn't give a damn who had something to do with it. Somebody is going to tell me why my baby dead. And that boy quit the next day. He quit the AMR the next day. But if they really want to know what happened to my boy, if they found him, I guarantee you he'll turn every one of them in because he was scared. He was scared. Scared to death. He ain't never been in nothing like this before. They might do it all the time, but this was his first time seeing it. But I bet you he got the pieces to the cake. But they won't find him. They hollering about they don't know where he at. Y'all will know where he was if my boy was in the boat, and y'all will find him then. But I'm gonna find him. And when I find him, he gonna tell this is what happened at my house. He sure is. Believe me, that little fella ain't going to jail for y'all. Because he was scared that night when he left there.
All right. Somebody else I want to bring up here who has also some good information on this is Adolfo Minka. I'm going to let him introduce himself. And here you go.
Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? We ain't at a funeral now. We at a protest rally. Y'all all right? All right, y'all out here so we can get justice? All right. Like the brother said, my name is Adolfo Winky. I'm an attorney here in Jackson, but more importantly, I am a member of a coalition called the Coalition Against Police State Violence in Jackson. Mario Clark's case is not an isolated case. It's not an isolated incident. That's what the police department wants the people to believe. That's what the city of Jackson administration wants the people to believe that's what the activists for the government in Jackson, Mississippi, who uphold and give cover to these killer cops, that's what they want ordinary people to believe. But we know otherwise, because there have been 8 people killed by the police since Mayor Lumumba took office in July of 2017. We've had instances where police have been accused of sexually assaulting young teenage girls and soliciting other young teenage girls. So this is a systemic problem in the city of Jackson. The police are corrupt, they're bankrupt, they do not serve the people, they help to uphold private property relations, and they uphold the monopoly of violence and exploitation and degradation that the state has over ordinary people in Jackson, Mississippi. And this is the thing that we have to understand today. Now, with respect to Mario Clark, some of you may have heard in the media where the mayor came out after this wonderful family stood in front of the city hall maybe about a month ago and said that they wanted justice for the death of Mario Clark. He came out and said, well, we fired these officers, and the Civil Service Commission put them back on the force. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a half-truth is a lie. What we have to understand, even if the Civil Service Commission did put them back on the force, people need to understand that Mayor Lumumba has the power over the Civil Service Commission. He appoints these people to the Civil Service Commission. And one of them, named Nasambi Lambright, she's on the Civil Service Commission, and she is closely tied with the Lumumba administration. She was on the task force that the mayor established to talk about revealing the identities of people that are killed by the police in the city of Jackson. She's been appointed to other entities by the mayor. So how can this woman be fair and impartial? How can this woman do justice on behalf of Mario Clark and the other 7 victims of the police department and the police state in Jackson, Mississippi? She's not impartial. She's partial, ladies and gentlemen. She's trying to give cover to the mayor. She's trying to give cover to the city administration. And I'm telling you today, don't go for it. Don't wait 1 minute. Don't worry about because he's a black man, and don't worry about making him look bad. These people are killers, and he's doing nothing to stop them. They're getting away with it with impunity. But back to the Civil Service Commission. If you recall, and if you don't recall, I'm going to tell you. Maybe a couple years ago, there was a young white woman by the name of Frances Fortner. She had it's a mural over here that they painted of her. She was 18 years old. She was about to graduate from high school, and she was driving down Old Kenton Road, and she hit a manhole, and she died from the accident that she had. Mayor Lumumba and his surrogates, they went to the scene, and Mayor Lumumba got on one of these TV cameras and basically admitted culpability for her death. Mayor Lumumba hasn't admitted culpability in one death of one black person in Jackson, Mississippi. What is the problem today, ladies and gentlemen? He claimed to be a radical mayor. He claimed to be for revolution. He calls himself a revolutionary mayor. Then why can't he stand up and say wrong is wrong when it's wrong? He can say it when a white woman is killed. And look, I'm not getting into this thing. We don't bat an eye at the loss of life, period. The city was culpable in Frances Fortner's death, and he should have admitted it. But when you can't admit that the 8 deaths of black people killed by the police state, then that's a problem. That's a serious problem. And he claims to be an African. He claims to be for black people. He is suppressing black people, ladies and gentlemen. He's not liberating black people. He's not leading some kind of revolution in Jackson, Mississippi. So what we need to do today, we need to organize ourselves, and we need to go to the government, and we need to demand that there's justice in Mario Clark's case. We don't want to hear any talk about legalities. We don't want to hear any excuses. We want action today. We want these officers fired today, and that's not fast enough. The people have to do it. We cannot rely on these government officials to do something for us. I'll give you an example. Just recently, it was announced on yesterday that the officer that was videotaped on Facebook choking a young man over there on Woodrow Wilson back in the beginning of June, he was fired. Do you think he was fired because the government is benevolent and they want to do justice? Come on, ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't even happen in a comic book. This is what we got to deal with. It's the social motion of ordinary people that makes the police and the state back up off of us. That's why that man was fired. That's why the police officer was fired. It was because the ordinary people recorded it, and it was because the ordinary people are starting to learn their own strength, and they are challenging the government. They are challenging the mayor. They are challenging his minions that claim to be activists, but they really support the state. And I just want to be clear. I don't care how black these people claim to be. If you're black and you're wrong, you're wrong. If a white people do it, if a white person does it, they're condemned. They condemn Tate Reeves. They condemn Delbert Hosemann. They condemn all of these white politicians. But when it comes to these black politicians that collaborate with the state, nobody has anything to say. Don't be racially insecure. Don't give these black people cover. They don't talk about the abuse that goes on in this city, in this county. Why? Because these people are black. Black don't mean nothing. H. Rap Brown said that to be black is necessary, but it's not sufficient. That's a starting point. That's an identity point. But the common oppressor is not the white man. The common oppressor is those who would exploit and degrade and dominate people, no matter what their color, no matter what their class, no matter what their background. So we have to oppose exploitation, degradation, and suppression in all of its forms, ladies and gentlemen. And we have to watch out. We have to be aware. We can't fall asleep. Because when you fall asleep, the empire strikes back. And you're not prepared. The counterinsurgency strikes back. They think that every one of you are going to go to bed. They saw the people marching. They saw the people marching and gathering. And that's why they're trying to make all of these concessions to hope that you will go back to sleep and you will forget what they've been doing to you. But 8 people, the municipal government has blood on its hands, ladies and gentlemen, and we cannot let that go. We cannot pretend like it never happened. We demand today that Mayor Lumumba comes out and issues a public apology to this family. We demand today that Mayor Lumumba puts it in writing. He always likes to have a press conference, doesn't he? Every other day he's having a press conference. Why he not having a press conference? Apologizing for this mother's pain. Apologizing for this brother's pain. Apologizing for this family's pain. He can't have a press conference about that. But he can have a press conference about everything else. He should come forward today and give an apology to this family. This family should be compensated for the pain and suffering that it has endured. And this family should not be quiet. They should be angry. And this whole city should be in uproar. And we're not against peacefulness. We are peaceful people. The people are peaceful. But when they are constantly attacked, when they are constantly assaulted, when they are constantly told that these people protect and serve us, when we see every day that they do not protect and serve us. They protect the rule and authority of the government. They respect the rule and authority of the capitalist money grubbers who exploit the people. So we have to get to a point where we say there's no more compromise with that kind of system. So ladies and gentlemen, we have to demand it. That's the only way it's going to happen. I thank everybody for giving me the chance to speak to you today. I'm glad to be here to stand with the family members of Mario Clark. And I look forward to standing with them and the people who are willing to do what is necessary. And if you're not willing to do what is necessary, like Malcolm said, get back in the alley. Get back up on the sidewalk. You don't want to do what's necessary today. So don't stand in the way of those who do want to do what is necessary. So let's take the proper steps to do what is necessary and bring about justice in the city of Jackson and make it a real radical city and make it a city where the people decide seriously, to make it a city where we establish our own self-government and we arrive on our own authority. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
How y'all doing? I don't mean to offend nobody or nothing like that, but the devil divides and he conquers. And that's all he do. He roam to and fro and he divides and he conquers. Let us not be divided by the color of our skin. What makes you a man ain't the color of your skin. What makes you a man is what you willing to do when ain't no one looking, when you behind closed doors and when you at your lowest. That's what defines a man. These personnel that's holding these powers, it can be black or white. When you misuse the powers, you violating the law, you violate the constitutional law, the rights that our forefathers set up for this country. And there's a lot of that going along everywhere. And most of it is caught on camera, and that's why we bring eye to it. My question is good as yours. All these officers in the house, where the body cam was? You know, when no video, when nothing, you know what I mean? And she said she made the 911 call and told him he was a paranoid schizophrenic. The proof of that 911 call is when the AMR came and administrated the Geodon shot. Geodon is only administrated to paranoid schizophrenic patients. So my mom also said she was on the phone with somebody and she believed that they was intentionally killed. And I said, no, Mom, she should have been on the phone with the doctor. The doctor was supposed to be giving her orders on how to take and administrate this shot or whatever. It was 3 shots given to him. He was jumping all over the place, so that means he was sweating, according to y'all words. He was sweating and everything. Breathing real hard and all, you know, administrate a shot under that conditions. Damn sure not 3. But anyway, when they came, he was there, and when they left, he left with them on the stretcher, foaming out the mouth. Sharon Grissom, the state, she said he was strangled. So when she said he was getting beat with that stick, she ain't lying. The evidence backed it up. Ain't nobody got the reason to lie on nobody. But it's been 17 months. They hesitate with these medical papers. My brother's heart shrunk up in there. His kidneys failed. They know. They know. We want these officers arrested. We don't want y'all to forget about AMR in the hospital. Y'all study saying the officers. She said cause of death was blunt force injuries with probable electrical component. He was strangled. He wasn't strangled at the house because when they came in, he was still alive. So we gonna keep AMR and CMN as suspects too till we find out what's really going on. And y'all can sit up there and degrade her and talk about she got the money all you want to discourage her, but you can't do away with this homicide. Homicide means murder. She's screaming murder. These folks need to be arrested. We look to the law to do their job. Because when we turn around and take it in our own hands, we getting locked up. It's bad. We violated. So we look to our leaders to handle their job and lead as an example. That's why the crime's so high now. Ain't no where your homicide detectives at, on vacation? It's ridiculous. And then right around us, 5 miles away, crime rate under control. Madison County, y'all know about it. Rankin County, Madison, Clinton. But we can't get it here. It's under control out here in Jackson. I wouldn't even be here talking to you today, but y'all violate, y'all come up in my mama house, this been going on, ain't nobody lying on y'all. All you gotta do is Google the accusations against the police department for the past 5 years, and you'll see it's obvious it's corrupt. And most of the complaints have been within their own police department. Ex-cops that didn't quit, filed suits on them, and most of them was paid, half of them was paid. We ain't finna keep this on the table. We're gonna be right. Y'all can get used to us. Y'all can get used to us. Y'all gonna do something about this. And I know y'all probably looking at it like we ain't nothing. And these officers, they got, y'all know them, y'all eat dinner with them. They got sorority and all that type of stuff, but the law is the law. Mississippi, Jackson has a 0 tolerance for homicide. I don't care if you see 90 of them a year. They have a 0 tolerance of homicide. They go for the citizens, the police department, whoever else. 0 tolerance for homicide. I'm screaming all the way to the end. If I gotta go up to the highest government, somebody gonna hear this case and do something about this.
I'm Mario's girlfriend. It was Valentine's Day when we called to get help for him. Instead of celebrating love, that was the last day that I ever seen him alive. He called me, asked me to come and pick him up. By the time I got there, it was police all down the street. When I got in there, he was hog-tied. I asked him what was going on, and he told me, "Baby, they're trying to kill me." Those are the exact words that came out of his mouth when I got in there. Ever since that day changed my life for the rest of my life. When I first got there, I walked in, it was about 6 or 7 of them just on them. And I was just screaming. I was like, hold on, wait a minute, what's going on? And he was hog-tied, he was just looking around. And I said, Mario, what's happening? What's going on? You just called me 10 minutes ago to just pick you up. He said, baby, they're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me. They yelled and screamed at me, get out the house, get out the house. I said, for what? Let me calm him down. Let me see what's going on. They had no understanding for anything that I was saying. They didn't listen to me. They cursed at me, told me they were going to take me to jail, asked me all kind of questions that was really irrelevant to what was going on. They were supposed to be there to help him. Valentine's Day would never be the same for me for the rest of my life. I don't know why they came there and did what they did, but they left there with his life. I don't know, I don't understand. I have absolutely no understanding for what happened. We only have questions, we only have heartache, we only want justice for what happened. He was murdered. He was murdered. Point blank period. He was alive and well, healthy man. Very, very healthy, strong. If you see the pictures of him in the hospital bed, he was almost bigger than the bed was. You know what I'm saying? There was absolutely nothing wrong with him when they came there. But when they left there, he was dead and gone.
Urgency death.
What I want to get out of this most is I don't want, we tend to get behind certain issues, and we'll post about it on Facebook, we'll march through all this for about a good 2-3 weeks, and then it seems like it just dies down. I don't want this to be one of those cases. Not only his case, but the other victims of Jackson police brutality. I want this to be like we post any other dumb stuff, like for instance the stuff going on with Jaden Will, it's ridiculous. It really doesn't benefit us. But us as Jackson citizens, this is what we need to be posting, sharing, marching, and doing everything we can. It really don't cost nothing. Or sharing a hashtag justice for Mario Clark, it don't cost nothing. Maybe about 10 seconds to type it in. You type it in long enough, when you type in hashtag justice, it's gonna come across the screen, you click it. This will not be the first protest that we had. It's the first one, but it will definitely not be the last one. I want to thank everybody that came out here and took time out of their busy schedule to just be a part of this and to listen to what was going on. I want to thank the family for coming out here and stating what they had to say. And like I said, let's not make this a situation where it just dies down, because I'm not. If you know me personally, if you know me on social media, I'm not gonna let it die down. I want to send a big shout out to AZ Black for coming out here and speaking. I want to send a big shout out to Channel 12 and WLBT 3. Okay then, and that's all I got to say, and I'm gonna let him speak, and then we'll be done.
I want y'all, we can't forget about Mr. George, that last year around about the same time, 2 or 3 weeks prior to my brother's death, Mr. George, he was a 58-year-old man who was misidentified, mistaken in a traffic stop and beaten to death by JPD. Miss Sharon Grissom labeled that a homicide. Y'all ain't heard nothing about it, and y'all stay in the city. So let us fight for him too. It's a lot of things that we need to be dealing with right here in the city of Jackson. So hey, all it takes for you to open your mouth. That's all it takes for you to open your mouth.
Justice for Mario Clark.
Hashtag justice for Mario Clark, all right? Thank y'all for coming out. Appreciate it.